broken up in a couple parts. Part 2 airing after the game right here on RTV6. But there's so much speculation amongst fans about what's going on with this team. I mean, did the Danny Granger trade really mess up the chemistry of this team? What about Roy Hibbert? What about Frank Vogel? I had the chance to sit down with Larry one-on-one.
Simple question, which I know is not going to get a simple answer, or maybe there is not a simple answer to this. How do we go from a team first 3 months that looked like world beaters to now you just scratch your head when you watch these guys play?
Well, first of all, if you really watch this play and you analyze the games, we were struggling through all that. We wasn't playing our best basketball.
Even in December or January?
Well, I mean, we were down at halftime almost every game,
right.
But we came back and we beat a lot of teams that were struggling at that time. We just overpowered them with our defense, and we scored enough to win. But a lot of this has been brewing for a long time. I knew we had some problems. So what I tried to do at trade deadline, try to fix them problems. And now we're not playing well at all. I mean, we're all out of sync. Our defense is not carrying us the way it did earlier in the year. Right. And for us to have success, we got to be a top-notch defensive team.
Fans are fans, just like the rest of it. They want to know what's up. A lot of them point back to that trade deadline, moving Danny Granger, picking up Evan Turner. In some strange way, did that take chemistry out of the locker room at all?
No, these guys are pretty tight. You know, they complain at times about different things, but they like one another.
You guys complain a little bit?
They're players. I mean, you know, I can tell you a story about when I first got in the league. Dave Cowens told me, if you don't start complaining, you'll never be a good NBA player. So, but we have some guys are not playing well, and they're frustrated. Now our whole team's not playing well. Our bench is not playing well. But I really believe that from watching the team early on, I felt that we needed to do something at trade deadline to try to right the ship.
That takes me back to the Atlanta game. Okay, Roy sits out in second half. By the way, how much do you read into body language? Because that's what everybody was reading into. He's down there, he's sulking at the end of the bench. Did that frustrate you at all?
Well, I was frustrated like everyone else was. If you watch Lance day in and day out, his body language is not the best in the world, but he gets some stuff done for you. Roy will be fine. Roy hadn't played as well as he likes to play, but I think that for us to go where we want to go, Roy's got to be the guy, because he's the guy in the middle of the defense, and when he's playing well in the defensive end, we play well.
But his numbers are down, though, since the All-Star break. Is that just because you think being fatigued a bit, or?
I think a little bit it's fatigue. I don't want to make excuses for these guys, but he's just not playing that well. And but defensively, we're not playing well. And for us to win, we got to defend.
Andrew Bynum, you go back to his debut, I thought it was spectacular. He looked great out there. Do you think we'll see Andrew again in the playoffs? What's the timetable on Andrew?
Well, I'm not a doctor. Andrew's knee swelled. We want to get all the swelling out of there, and we want to get him back slowly.
Right.
Obviously, we brought him in for one reason. That's the playoffs. You know, people don't remember, but 2 years ago, he's probably the best center in the league.
Right.
So if we can get anything out of him, you know, 15, 18 minutes a game, he can play. We know he can play. Right. It's just getting him out there. Now, how he'll react as far as coming back, that's, you know, we got to wait and see. But if he stays dry in his knee and keeps the swelling out there, he'll be fine.
Frank took the entire starters out of the game the other night against Atlanta. Are you seeing the things you'd like to see coaching-wise from Vogel at this point?
I back Frank 100%. There's some things early on the season, like I said, I went to him and told him that we need to clean everything up.
You told him he needed to bring the hammer a little bit.
Well, that's not Frank's personality.
Right.
That's my personality at times, but that's not Frank's personality. I think Frank does it in his own way. I think all of us need to be held accountable. I've always said that, from the top to the bottom, because really your leadership starts at the top and it just works its way down to the trainers and everyone else. But it's a tough thing because we've never really been in this position. You know, I mean, we lost games and we played bad, but not on a consistent basis like we're doing now. We're not playing well, and we know that. Okay, what can we do to make us better? Well, We got to go back and make the game fun and simple.
And that's just part one. Part two coming up after the game here on RTV6 and ABC. We get into Lance Stevenson. What's going to happen to Lance next year? Whether or not he's going to be a member of the Patriots. But again, Larry talked about fatigue, didn't make excuses about it. But the starters had those 4 days off. They will play tonight. So the fatigue issue should be gone.
Larry knows what it takes to get a team to a championship level as a player, as a coach. The decisions he's made over the course of these last few years, some of them take some time, but his track record proves that he's worth listening to. And it'll be interesting to see what part two brings tonight.
One thing you're going to get from Larry is no falderall.
Sure.
And there's a term for that. I can't say it on live TV, on local TV anyway. Take a look live from SkyCam 6. Bankers Live Fieldhouse filling in. And we are getting set. Thunder and Pacers, two of the best teams in the NBA record-wise anyway. Will they be two of the best on the floor here today? Much more here on RTV6 after this time out.